Okay, so to start, I'm going to be using 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You could also use bread flour for a higher protein content in your noodles, and it also gives it a chewier noodle, like texture-wise, but I know most people definitely have all-purpose flour, so that's what I'm using today. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 large room temperature egg. Actually, let me mix in the salt. Water, and just start mixing this in. You can start with mixing it with a fork or whatever, but I'm just going to go in with my hands. They're clean. So at this point, I can put this on my work surface, and I'm not even going to add extra flour to the work surface. And now I'm going to continue kneading this dough until it becomes smooth or somewhat smooth. The dough did seem a little extra dry, so I went ahead and added water to my hands and just started working at the dough as I'm kneading it. So this is supposed to be a dough on the drier side, but if you're not measuring ingredients, or like me today, I'm kind of eyeballing stuff, you might want to add water a teaspoon at a time until the dough comes together. But just know this is not supposed to be a super wet dough. It is supposed to be tough and dry because the noodles that you want to achieve are going to be bouncy and chewy. So anyways, that's just a tip. So I'm going to continue kneading this. I'm already about 7 minutes into kneading, and it is coming together a lot better with the addition of a teaspoon or 2 of water. But like I said, a nice tip is instead of just adding the teaspoon onto the dough, kind of wet your hands and work it in. Okay, so here is my dough. It's not perfectly smooth, but I am going to be kneading this twice, but I want to let this rest for 30 minutes. I'm going to cover it in cling wrap, set it in my bowl, and rest for 30 minutes. Okay, so my dough has rested, and I'm not even going to flour the surface because it is kind of, you know, pretty dry, but I'm going to knead again for about 5 to 10 minutes until it really is a smooth dough ball and it springs back to touch. Okay. So here is my dough. This is as smooth as I'm going to get it today, but I want to show you. See how that springs back? So that's kind of where you want it. So what I'm going to do is just wrap it. So I'm going to get my work surface ready, and we're going to roll this out and do some hand cut noodles. I had to move you guys over here to the side, but I'm going to flour my work surface. And you know, as far as rolling pins go, use what you got. I'm using this type of rolling pin, and I'm going to basically roll this out into a thin, long sheet. The gluten is worked and it has that bouncy spring to it. It's not an easy dough to roll out, but it's definitely worth it in the end. So do the best you can, but I'll be back with you guys when I get this rolled out. Okay, so here's what I'm working with. So what you'll want to do before you start cutting them is you're going to add flour on both sides. Because if you don't do this, when you go to cut them, they'll just stick together in one blob and you will not have noodles. So now I'm going to fold it, or tri-fold it here. There we go. And it's, oh, and I gotta be careful. You can't really pat it down. So when you cut, let's see here, you can cut it to the size and shape. And actually this is going to be, I'm gonna cut the end off. I'll still use that, but anyways. So this is not a perfectly shaped sheet of pasta, but I'm still going to use these noodles. And I'm going to cut these for lo mein, so just a thin, something like this works, and kind of give it a pull. Anyways, so I'm going to continue cutting. And a sharp knife definitely works. Okay, so they are all cut, and what I'm doing now is carefully, like I said, you don't want to press the dough together. And what I'm doing is just kind of bouncing it and gently pulling it. And there is my, I'm going to be using this for lo mein, so my lo mein noodle. And I'm just going to continue the process. And in the next video that I post, I will show you what I do with these. I'm going to boil them and stir fry them in lo mein. And I'm going to also make a marinated baked chicken to go along with the vegetable lo mein. So yeah, be on the lookout for that video. And once it's posted, I definitely check the description below and I'll put the link. So, super excited. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.